If I am making a game update video, it's because it is well worth it. We're going to start off with the general. The 2025 Chicago White Sox City Connect uniforms have been added. They also fixed an issue that caused frame rate drops with a runner on base. Going into what's more important to all of us is going to be the gameplay. So they resolved 3 issues where wins and ELO were incorrectly awarded to users quitting in co-op. That means that when people were quitting on you before the game even started and handing you a loss and them getting a victory, that has been fixed. So if they attempt that again, not only do they have the penalty, but they also will lose rating and you will gain the victory. This has been something that has been going on for the past 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know how anyone takes the time to discover these glitches, but it is something that spread like wildfire. So if you see yourself facing a World Series icon player, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're necessarily a good player. It could simply mean that they abused this glitch all the way to World Series. Another big issue that they fixed, and to me this is big, is players were unable to forfeit their opponents in any head-to-head matchup without having to hold the X button or A button to accept forfeiting your opponent for a certain amount of seconds. Instead, now it's going to be you just tap it and you forfeit the opponent. This is important because we would have players that for some reason knew how to spam pause timers, run out of pause time, and you still weren't able to get them to forfeit the match because you had to hold it for around, I'd like to say 3 to 5 seconds, and they were able to on pause before you got it fully done every single time. Adjustments have been made to GOAT difficulty. This doesn't affect me. It probably doesn't affect the majority of the player base, but they slightly increased the PCI overall, and they also reduced the penalty for low and away pitches, but this is only pertaining to GOAT difficulty. So us on All-Star, Hall of Fame, or Legend pitch speeds difficulty, this does not apply to you. And to get a little bit more into detail as to what they mean with reduce the penalty for low and away pitches, if you did not know this, regardless of the difficulty you play on, whenever someone throws an away off-speed pitch, like a slider let's say, the PCI actually shrinks as you try to hit outside pitches in general. So playing on GOAT difficulty at those pitch speeds, if your PCI is already shrinking, it's only going to make it 10 times harder to hit, especially with the nerf to exit velos we've had this year. Before continuing, I highly suggest you guys check out the description. There we have our Discord where we talk marketplace and much more. We have our Twitch link where we stream every single day, and our social media links where you guys can reach out and talk to me or keep up day-to-day basis. But don't forget to also hit the like button on this video, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss another video. They made tweaks to the timing of batter strides for more realistic gameplay. I'm going to take a minute to go ahead and break this down to you because a lot of people might not know what this means, and a lot of you might have been facing an opponent that you guys were saying to yourself, he has to be cheating, because no matter what pitch I am throwing him, he is able to either time it correctly and hit a home run or time it correctly and square up the ball. It is impossible to pitch to the hitter. So there's something called tempo that really became big this year, and it was looking at the hitter's stride and the release point of the pitcher in terms of the baseball. You were able to tell whether you were getting a heater, whether it was a cutter, sinker, fastball, or an off-speed pitch like a changeup, sweeper, slider, and splitter, for example. And based on this, if the hitter had a good stride that people were able to pick up on and they went ahead and practiced it or learned it enough to where they could just automatically do it, no matter what pitch you threw to those specific hitters with good strides, the hitters would always be able to tell and time up the baseball correctly. And then it just becomes a game of, do I want to go after this pitch and place the PCI on it or not? It makes the game extremely easier for those that were able to have that advantage. It seems like they're going to be taking that away because it is not realistic gameplay. And me personally, I agree with SDS. I didn't know how to do it, but I was learning how to do it a little bit. Let's not go ahead and take away my ability to learn, but I didn't feel like it was something necessary in this game, because in real life, even though this game isn't technically real life, a hitter does not change his stride based on what pitch is coming to him. A hitter does not have that inside information into a pitcher's brain to know, hey man, yeah, this is definitely going to be an off-speed pitch or a fastball. A hitter generally has the same stride and the same approach until he has 2 strikes, and then at 2 strikes is generally when a hitter says, okay, let's not have such a big leg kick, or let's change our approach stride a little bit. That way we can stay on the heater, but if it's an off-speed pitch, still remain balanced enough to carry the ball. They also fixed the crash occurring in co-op mode. Diamond Dynasty, Diamond Quest in particular, they fixed a visual bug in Diamond Quest where the zone sweeper rewards would show incorrectly 10,000 stubs and 10,000 experience that would be earned once you beat them. That is not the case. Most likely will never be the case for Diamond Quest, so they went ahead and fixed that visual bug. They didn't address the challenges that people were able to see at one point as well. I wonder if that is also tackled inside this bullet point, or maybe the challenges eventually do come because they seemed a little bit more reasonable. Now, this is something that I discussed in the previous video in terms of roster update predictions and how you can exploit the marketplace by creating back orders. This bullet point right here is basically telling you, hey, if you went ahead and created a ton of back orders for a common player that 100% is getting upgraded to bronze at 5 stubs, once he hits that next tier, any buy order below the minimum buy order for that next tier is going to be canceled. So you can no longer exploit the marketplace and roster update predictions that way. To me, it's a good change, but it sucks that they're only doing it for players that get upgraded. They should do it for players that get downgraded too, because what if I have a hefty buy order in for a diamond that's an 87 overall, he drops down to an 85 and his price just tanks and I lose out money because I wasn't quick enough. Road to the Show in-game ticker will now be shown in MLB games. Franchise, they fixed the bug where game stats would reset when pinch hitting or making a pitching change through the quick menu. They fixed the bug where free agent stats would show zeros in their contract negotiation screen. Fixed an issue where created players with MLB service time listed would have the MLB debut patch during their first game of the season. Stadium Creator is another topic that a lot of people had problems with, and it looks like these changes might resolve them. They fixed the bug where users were unable to load stadiums created in previous years. They fixed the bug where the preview image was not the correct one, and now uploaded stadiums can be used in online modes, as well as fixing a bug where lights would be flickering in dugouts or outfield walls. Storylines, they fixed failing a moment, try again showing a different player, and then miscellaneous various commentary bug fixes. And then we have a bunch of players that they updated the player models for: Patrick Murphy, Oscar Gonzalez, Cole, Roeder, Jason Alexander, Francisco Lindor, Dylan Cease, Jorge Lopez, Nathan Luce, Adley Rutschman, Anthony Bender, Brian Hayes, Nick Gonzalez, they misspelled the shit out of his name, unless that's not how you spell it, Cade Bunnell, and then Paul Molitor. So that is it for the game update. I thought those changes were deserving of a video. If you guys did end up enjoying today's content, once again, make sure you guys check out the description for the Discord, Twitch, social media links. Hit that like button or subscribe button, notification bell. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.